Hi, San Antonio, City Councilman Manny Pelaez for District 8. Yet again, another edition of our digital video series called Everyday Heroes, where we introduce you to the local San Antonians, your neighbors, who are helping all of us face this COVID-19 challenge. And today I'm introducing you to a buddy of mine named Esteban López, MD. Esteban and I have known each other for a number of years, and welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Now, tell me, you're not in the San Antonio Public Library right now. This is a library that you built out in your beautiful home, right?
I'm actually not in San Antonio right now, but
What?
I'm a close neighbor of yours, close neighbor to District 8. I'm in the city of Castle Hills.
That's right. That's right. You live on a totally different planet than we do.
Where my spouse is actually a city council member here.
That's
so
right.
we are
That's right.
in the city of Castle Hills currently, but thank you so much for having me on your show. I am humbled to even be considered as any type of hero, much less a healthcare hero. Yeah, we are in our home library. So
Isn't that cool?
we collect books. So if you want to check out a book, come on over. You're more than welcome.
Well, listen, I mean, you're stuck at home like the rest of us, right? But I know that you're a practicing physician and that you do emergency room work, right?
Yes. So I'm board certified in both internal medicine and pediatrics by training. So I did a double residency in med peds, but over the last, 15 years, I've practiced exclusively in the emergency department. So I don't practice full time. Many folks may know me as having been attached to Blue Cross Blue Shield as an executive there. No longer with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Had a great 7-year run. And I still practice every now and then in the emergency department to keep my skills up, and I enjoy that firsthand patient contact.
But one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, Esteban, is because you're doing something so unique that I think it's important that all of our neighbors know about. You've taken your training and your experience, and you've taken the COVID show on the road, if you will, and you're being featured on Telemundo a lot lately.
Yeah, so for about a month now, I was actually looking back, and I think my first stint on Telemundo was March the 17th. So today is April the 15th. So it's been, almost a month where I really got interested in following this virus and following the pandemic. And, given the work that I've done in my career and as a practicing physician, I knew what was coming down on the road, and I knew that a lot of folks were scared.
Yeah.
Frankly, a lot of physicians have been scared too, as you've seen folks on television, because they're reading the headlines and they're doing the day-to-day, and it's not like every doc has time to do all that hard research, when they're taking care of patients full time and they're coming home tired. So I had some extra time on my hands, and I've had my finger on the pulse as to what's going on with the coronavirus and COVID-19, and I've lent that voice on a national platform with our friends at Telemundo, Noticias Telemundo. So I'm bilingual, had an opportunity, and I've taken it to really be able to provide reliable information to folks out there, because there's a lot of disinformation, Manny. A lot of people don't have the right information, and there's a lot of rumors and myths.
There's also, I think, a phenomenon in the Spanish-speaking community where they do not benefit from all of the channels of information that come, our way, and who speak English, and so they have very few media vehicles through which they can receive, accurate information. Which is why I was so relieved to know that you're out there talking to the Latino community on Telemundo. Now, I understand your parents live with you. Has your dad seen you on TV? What does he say when he sees Mijo up there on the screen?
Yes, my dad sees me on television. I've been on almost every night. And it's been a great opportunity to be able to talk with folks and get reliable information out. So, I mean, nothing that I talk about, I have not researched and double checked or triple checked. So I'm not just using my own personal experience as a physician, because clearly as a physician, I may know a lot, but I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of get that clinical information and condense it to a soundbite that makes sense for folks, in a maybe 2-minute time span to talk about something that's pretty complicated and pretty scary. So, I mean, one of the questions that an audience member had was, should I put hand sanitizer all over my body, my clothes, my shoes,
Right.
myself before I walk into the house? And the answer, of course, is no. There's no reason to do that. A
Right.
lot of folks are, folks start getting really concerned about things that are in their control. A virus that's in a respiratory droplet that's flying through the air within 6 feet, that's not in folks' control, right?
Right.
But what you
Right.
can do is wear a mask. So people start worrying about, should I sanitize everything that comes into the house? Should I avoid getting takeout? When we know that the majority of viral infections from COVID-19 are in close contact with someone who is infected, not necessarily through the milk carton, or the takeout that's being delivered. So I think reasonable precautions are fine. If people want to have an abundance of precaution, it makes them feel better, that's fine. But really, making sure that we stay at home if possible. We know that folks have to go grocery shopping or have to get their medications. And if they have to go do that, keeping apart 6 feet, having a physical distance of 6 feet, of course, wearing a face mask, avoiding touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, washing your hands frequently. Those are all going to be things to mitigate your risk and reduce your risk and keep yourself and your family healthy. I live with my parents, as you mentioned, and I make sure I keep them very isolated. They don't go out at all. I do the shopping for them. I pick up their medications for them.
Are you getting a lot of questions about types of mask? What is a good mask? What is not a good mask? Should I make one at home? Can I just wear a bandana? What is it you tell people when they ask you that?
We're trying to capture those respiratory droplets as they come out, and you can do that with a regular bandana. There's no reason for you to go out and buy one. You can do that with a t-shirt wrapped around your face.
Okay.
My sister made me a nice Dodgers mask. As you know, I'm from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I don't have it with me right now, but yeah, I wear that mask. So there really isn't a need to have something super fancy. If you have the ability to make a mask, make it. If you don't and you can wear a bandana, that's fine. What we're trying to do with the mask more than anything is protect others from your respiratory droplets. But think about it. If everyone is wearing a mask when they walk out, some type of cloth covering, then everyone is protected.
My mother-in-law made us masks. They're really neat. And
I saw your mask. I'm jealous. I like it.
The one you saw is one that I bought, and they ran out because I went back to go look for some more. But folks, this is the mask, and Esteban, I want you to tell me if this is doctor approved.
That is doctor approved. That's actually a very
fun
the
mask.
Elastic. I wish I had one like that.
Yeah, and so folks, it's fancier because of the mustache, but then it's balanced out with the buck teeth.
now, I'm a pediatrician. The kids that I see would love a mask like that.
Well, that's the other thing, is that I would send you mine, but I've worn it, and I've heard a lot of questions about people asking, how do I clean my mask?
A bandana or a cloth mask, you can just throw it in the dryer. I mean, the washer okay. And dryer. You don't need to spray bleach on it. You don't need to use special disinfectant. Regular soap and water from the washer is fine. Even if you just want to hand wash it, is fine. So remember, the virus has a very, very fragile cap. It's a lipid cap. Lipid is just a fancy term for fat. So if you're using fat to wash your hands, you're breaking up that fat capsule and then making the virus inactive. Also, remember, the virus is not live. It's not like a bacteria where it's a living organism. It is basically genetic material in a capsule with protein on it. So it doesn't it doesn't replicate by itself. It needs a host to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So when you disrupt and break up that capsule, it's not like it's going to come magically together and become a Frankenstein.
Do you agree with the following statement? Because I said it in a big crowd, so I hope you do. And that is that as much as doctors wish they were in charge, or epidemiologists wish they were in charge, or politicians and policymakers were in charge, really who's in charge here is everybody was watching the show if they follow the rules, and the timing is set by the virus, right? I mean, so long as we can figure out a way to not continue spreading that virus, it, do you feel like there's anything policymakers can do or doctors can do other than just beg people to do the right thing, wash their hands and wear their masks?
Well, policymakers can do some things,
Okay.
and you in the city have done that, right? By having a stay-at-home ordinance, that's important. And we know that when those ordinances aren't in place or those orders are not in place, that the risk of infection goes up. However, to your point, absolutely. What I said on television the other day was in an attempt to empower people. You do have power to fight this virus. The
Mm-hmm.
power that you have is to stay at home. The power that you have is to wear a mask and to wash your hands frequently, to be mindful when you're out in public of where your hands are, right? So that you're not touching your nose, your eyes, or your mouth. It's less important when you're in your house. Why? Because unless a lot of people are coming and going in your house, which it shouldn't be because we're all staying at home, the odds are the virus isn't going to magically come in through the window or underneath the front door. If your house is virus free, it's virus free. Only you can bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can be more relaxed in your own home. You don't have to wash your hands as frequently within your own home. But I'm talking about, the grocery workers at HEB, they need to wash their hands frequently, not just to protect the public, but to protect themselves, because we have to think about the essential workers. Those are folks who are at high risk because they're engaging with the public.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're someone who has to engage with the public, be mindful of where your hands are, wear a mask, and wash your hands frequently.
Well, listen, Doctor, this has been excellent, and just getting to know that I've got everyday heroes living next door to the rest of us it makes me feel a lot safer. So this is closing argument time, and if there's one thing you want people to remember during this difficult time, having met you, what is that one thing?
The one thing is really that they have control to be able to protect their neighbors. The main reason we're doing this is because the majority of us are going to be okay if we get the virus. But the ones that we know are going to be at highest risk is your mom and dad, your grandma and your grandpa, those folks that are over age 65, and those folks who are vulnerable from either chronic condition or immunocompromised. And I know San Antonians and I know Texans, and we are determined to protect our communities, and especially San Antonio, which is a high Latino community. We like to take care of our mom and dad. So take care of your abuelita and abuelito. Stay at home because you're protecting them, and watch out for them. Don't go visit them. Don't have the compadre over. Don't have the quinceañera. I know it's hard right now.
Yeah.
You can do that later when things get better. But by doing that, you're protecting them.
Hey, San Antonio owes you a huge debt of gratitude. My best to you and all of your neighbors in Castle Hills. Thank you so much for joining us, Esteban. And you heard him, everybody. Wash your hands, stay far away from other people if you have to, and do everything that you're told by the doctors and the health experts. Thank you, Esteban.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate it.